Okay, so I was saying, imagine you write a code to uh, to collect integer values from someone. Like we will write it now, we'll see. And the person decides to like enter strange, and you've written your code to calculate integers. Now, what are the provisions you've made in your project, in your program, to address these excesses? So now that's what brings us to exception handling. When you make provisions for excesses, or maybe there's something just happens and the whole code misbehaves, like with the software freeze. Like we've used some softwares on our laptop that just a little click, the whole computer will freeze up. That's not an efficient software. Now, if you have an efficient software, when you misbehave or something happens or you enter the wrong values, it should address it and give you a welcoming response. So exception handling is actually meant to do that. So let me comment out the particular assignment we just did, and let's head on to exception handling. Then I'll be introducing us to something very, very wonderful today. Some of the tools you can use in debugging in Visual Studio. It's called breaking point. Is that right? Breaking point or whatever. So when we see it, we understand the significance. So now, let's do something very practical. Now, I said integer, integer. Okay, let me call this val, and I say console dot read line. Console dot read line. And I said, okay, let me convert it pause, and let me ask the person, enter your age. Very simple instruction. Enter your age. And this person does not read well. I assume he's an elderly person. And then decide to enter his name. How will my code address this matter? And maybe in my code, I went ahead to say, okay, console dot write line. I just want to divide their age by 0.9. I want to do what some of the politicians don't do. So now I want to divide the age. So I say val divided by, okay, let's multiply it by 0.8. So 0.8. Then now divided 8 by 0.8 now. Now this is a very simple program. Now let's run it. Oh, I didn't put read key. Oh, okay, so I'll have to come and add that. I'll have to add that. Okay. And I think I added this now. So now let me run it. Okay. Taking touch time. Okay, so it's set. So let me share the output, the terminal with us. Okay. Okay, now we can see. Can we see enter your age? Okay, now normally, the person should enter a digit, and that digit in my code, I've written it to be multiplied by 0.8. And the person enters, if the person enters 56, fine. If it enters 56 and enter, you can see now it prints it out to be 44.8 now. Let's now do a case where the person decides to enter a string instead of age. The person decides to enter his name, and my program has not made provision for that. So now that will make my software go messy. So I'm coming. Okay. I don't know if you can see it now. Okay, now let me enter my name. Now, okay. As you can see now, my system will hang. Like you can see, you see the complaint now. Let me start sharing the complaint and what my system is saying with us. So now we can see the output is saying input string was not in correct format. That means assuming it's a software, it's just going to hang just like that and it's going to cause wahala. So now that's what brings us to exception handling now. And this is how you handle errors. This is how you handle errors. This is how you handle errors. Let me stop this. So now you anytime you want to, you know that there's possibility of error being generated at a particular section of your code. So now use the word try. You have also use try. Then now let me do just try, then double tap. If you're using Visual Studio, it automatically write everything now. Now you can see try. Now try, then you can see this particular section. That section should be where the code, like where what should be done will be put inside. So let me put my code now. I'll put it here now. So now, in case there's any error, what do I want it to do? I will put it inside catch. So now, if we catch all kinds of error that may be generated inside whatsoever that is inside try. So now, what do I want it to do? I want it to do console.writeLine and tell the person, oh, you have entered a wrong value. It makes it more welcoming. Okay, you have entered a wrong value. That will make it more welcoming for the person instead of my system running off or and just like that. Let's run this and let's see. So that's how you undo generic errors, like any form of errors. Now that you want to be specific, maybe you want to undo that's really fine, that reach documents, there are exceptions also as them also so if you address any form of error, you have something welcome to give as a response. So maybe you want to address specific errors, we will now use specific exceptions. So I will share some of them with us. There are so many, we can't cover all of them. So still running. I think this will be the last run I will do. It's taking so much time. It's taking time. Okay. So now any question before while we're waiting for the output? Any question? Do we understand the principle and the concept now?
Yes.
So, and I want us to start employing this as we write codes now. So we've understood, like I saw in Mr. Timmy's work, he made use of method. It's quite impressive. So as we learn, many of the things we learn, let's implement it in our code so it shows we are actually learning. Then Mr. Edele, I saw the assignment on methods. They are wonderful. It's on the repo. So others we can go and check. He has submitted his assignment on method. So he gave us some methods we can actually use for our calculator when we start our project. So still not coming up yet. Still waiting. So your block of code will be inside try. Then what you want to be done will be inside cache. Now there's now what we call finally. So apart from try cache, there's what we call finally. Now when it has done it either successfully or not successful, what do you want it to do? So that's what I mean by finally now. what should I do finally? So we also see another example around that. It's taking so much time. It's taking so much time. Okay. Let me just scroll down. Okay. Then also, is there any question around method? Because next week we'll be starting object-oriented programming, and that's where work actually lies. We will now be working with many files, and um, from one files entering the other files, trying to reach out to codes and all that. This thing is taking so much time. The system is freezing. Okay. Oh. Okay. While my system is freezing, but while it's just trying to undo that code. Let me show us the assignment Mr. Ayodele submitted. Let me open my browser. So this is it. Okay. Now I'm unable to open the method now because I think there is a git init in its work. So I'll need to remove that git init. So I always do that when assignment is submitted. So let me quickly do that to make it accessible. Let me just let me go to its work directly. Oh, my system failed to. Okay, we have to stop. Let me use my task manager. I have to stop. Very sorry. The system is not responding well. Okay. Wow. Okay. But do you understand the concept of the try and accept, try and catch concept? Do you understand and how to use them and how to use it?
Yes, one.
Okay. My system has frozen up and it's just not responding. Like, okay, I think it's back now. Hallelujah. Okay. Okay. You can also see my Visual Studio, right? I believe we can now, right?
Yes.
So now,
Yes.
I won't run it again. My system is not responding well. So let me introduce us to the try, catch, and finally I was talking about. So let me comment this out, and let me bring this. Okay, let's start from there. So now we can see they try this one. It's okay now. Just like the example I gave, try val equals 0. Now, when the person enters it, I want to divide whatever the person enters by the. I want to use 12 to divide it. I want to divide it by 12. So now, in case the person enters 0 now I'm caching a specific error here now. No, the other case, I just use exception in the cache for the parentheses covering the something. So I use the generic exception now. So to cache any form of error. But in this case now, I want to cache divide by 0 exception, like very specific. Like in case the person enters 0, that means I will not be dividing 12 by 0, which will result to infinity, which is an error. So this will cache it because you entered 0. Now I can decide to write another cache here and say cache. Then I want to collect any other form of error exception. Then if it is this case, then I want to write okay. I'll just write this one. There is a problem, but I don't know. There is a problem which I'm not sure of. Contact admin. Is as practicable as that. Those are the lines they write in some of the softwares you make mistake with and all that. So now, when you cache exception, it comes with some details of the error. So you can decide to, okay, in this case, I don't just only want to print this. I also want to print there's a message that comes with every error. So you can see now there's a variable I put there, e. So I can use e.message. e.message, then it will print out if there's a problem. So now let me add a new line. This is a symbol used for new line / new line. So to go to the next line. So to first write there's a problem which I'm not sure of, contact admin. Then that /n, it will go to the new line. Then it will now write out the message that contains much more details about it. Then finally, now this is what happens when it is done. Like when it is done trying, then finally I want to do some, maybe after it has finally executed the code inside try, I want to do some other stuff. I put it inside finally. So that's what finally is meant for. But the cache, now you can have as many caches depending on the type of errors you want to cache. So now when we write efficient code, this was make it efficient. You put stuff that will arrest issues. So there's another example here that we can look into later. This particular one I won't touch, but we can look into later. It's also try cache. I use the file not found. This particular code is just trying to read the text in a particular file. Read the text in a particular file. So if you couldn't find the file, now tell me, okay, file not found and all that. So I also wrote one here. If okay, there's also let's assume you want to throw error yourself, not like this. Don't want it to be thrown by the compiler itself. You can throw an error. You can see here. Let me comment it. So now in this case, if a is greater than 5, throw new exception, like throw an error. Then this should be the what you tell the person, the value is less than 5. So I will stop the class here today. So we've brushed exception handling. So now I will encourage us to go and read more, but this is the basic. This is what you will need. So every other thing you will just need understanding on various exceptions that you can arrest depending on the type of program you are writing. In this case, we are dividing by 0. In the other case of the example here, we are we were trying to open a file. So now, thank you for today. So I don't know if there's any question. So next week we'll be going into OOP, which is a big one for us. So I won't be giving us any assignment between now and next week. I want us to tidy up our GitHub. I want us to, those that are yet to submit some assignments, do the necessary assignments, then read more and read wide. So any question before we close this for today? Mr. Ayodele, Miss Goodness, Mr. Timile, any question?
The question I have is, what is a stream reader?
Okay, the stream reader is used to read or write when you have cause to read or write to a file. Like you can have a test file that you want to write. Let's assume you write a program that will be collecting the name of people, collect their name. Then as you are collecting their name, you are storing it in, you are writing it inside a file, maybe it was TST file or any form of file. You are writing it. Now, you need to make use of the object stream reader before you can write or read from a file. Do you get now?
Yes, I can get it.
Okay. So now for you to, you can decide to play with it. You can decide to play around it. Chibi, you have Visual Studio, right?
I'm using Visual Studio Code.
Okay, and you can also make use of it. Just that you need to import a particular library. That's, can you see system.io, using system.io? Can you see it?
Yes, I can see it.
Aha. You may need to import that. So any other question? Mr. Atimila and Miss Goodness, any question?
Oh, no question.
Okay, so I'm expecting us to go and tidy up our GitHub and play more with Git, then practice more with C#. Then start reading articles on the areas you want to focus on in C#. Now, do you want to become a web developer using C#? Do you want to become a mobile developer using C#? Do you want to become a desktop developer using C#? I only know desktop and web. So, but maybe later on I will start mobile. So, but start reading materials, articles. They join Medium. I don't know. How many of us know Medium? Join Medium. Google things. Ask Google about like the potentials of being a C# and start reading wide. So thank you so much for today. Like I said, the next class definitely will be next week, Wednesday, same time. So thank you so much. So see you on the Slack channel. So I love the way we are engaging the Slack channel. I love the response and all that too. It's quite cool. It's better we open up than so you can shout private message or maybe on the channel and all that. So thank you so much. So see us on Wednesday. So keep reading that material that was sent and keep practicing.
All right, so thank you.
Thank you.